The European Union cannot remain idle, and in the face of the courage shown by the men and women who, aboard the humanitarian flotilla, have tried to break the siege of Gaza and bring aid to those who are suffering, we cannot stay silent while they are cowardly detained by the government of Israel. The European Union cannot remain idle, and in the face of the courage shown by the men and women who, aboard the humanitarian flotilla, have tried to break the siege of Gaza and bring aid to those who are suffering, we cannot stay silent while they are cowardly detained by the government of Israel. The Commission has taken steps, but the Council must act now by suspending the association agreement with Israel, imposing sanctions on Netanyahu's government, and declaring an arms embargo. And it must do so together with a Gaza facility to rebuild what has been destroyed and restore dignity to the Palestinian people. Trump's plan cannot serve only to stop the war and return the hostages. Any peace plan must also serve to finally open the path toward the creation of a Palestinian state, because without that prospect, there will be no peace. And the main obstacle to peace is Netanyahu, because Netanyahu has admitted to having financed Hamas to make a two-state solution impossible. Europe must choose complicity or courage. And courage means defending the only possible solution. Two peoples, two states living in peace and equality. Let's stop the genocide. Let humanity speak out. For years, I have been advocating for an international administration for Gaza, and initially for the entire Palestinian Authority. And now that the Americans' plan has come to the table, this administration has become unavoidable. And I believe it is extremely positive, because without it, there will be no peace, no stability. And I think this is the path we must follow, not only for the Gaza Strip, but also for the territories of the West Bank. The European Union has behaved shamefully regarding the Middle East. It has given money, it has lost control of the money, tunnels are built with European Union funds, aid does not reach the people are hungry, the people are the least protected of all. And this aid that the Commissioner is going to talk about, through whom will it be delivered? Through the United Nations? Through Hamas? Because don't forget that there is something called Stockholm Syndrome. And you can be sure that a large part of the population of Gaza and a large part of the citizens under the Palestinian Authority are increasingly siding with Hamas. I think it's important not to forget that. As for the two-state solution, will we recognize it? There can only be a Palestinian state if that particular state fully recognizes the Israeli state. That is precisely why the 5 previous attempts have unfortunately failed. And that's why this one will fail too, if the Palestinians do not recognize the state of Israel. But if at least there were a halt to the bombings, a ceasefire, and the release of the hostages, what a joy that would be. We cross our fingers, we hope, but we also try to understand why Donald Trump has so stubbornly twisted Benjamin Netanyahu's arm. Why has he handed the United States this role of arbiter, a role they had given up? It's simple. If Israel annexes the West Bank, the Gulf countries told him, it will be the end of the Abraham Accords, the only success Donald Trump ever achieved. If Israel doesn't apologize for having bombed Doha, they told him, it will be the end of the trust contract between the Gulf and the White House. And then the Europeans got involved, with France and Great Britain at the forefront, who had also changed their political stance by expanding the movement to recognize Palestine. Humiliated by Vladimir Putin in Ukraine, Donald Trump risked losing his crucial footing in the Middle East. Suddenly isolated, like everyone else, he had to take into account a significant show of force, and we Europeans must learn from this important situation. Against men who wish us so little good, individuals like Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, We have effectively shown our muscles and our strength. This has been achieved by diligently finding new allies and no longer allowing, not even once, a single unauthorized incursion into our precious airspace.
More than 100 civilians, EU civilians, and 3 members of this House were illegally abducted by Israel for trying to do what their governments should have been doing, which was to end the illegal blockade, and neither the Council or the Commission thought to mention them today. How is it that a small, oppressive foreign regime built on racism and violent ideology has been able to infiltrate our institutions and dominate our foreign and domestic policy, to create a situation where the freedoms, interests and wishes of our own citizens have been trampled on? We absolutely need the killing to stop, but this peace plan is colonialism. Gaza does not need a viceroy, and certainly not one who prosecutes an illegal war in Iraq. Gaza needs to be free from occupation, and Palestinians need to be treated with respect and given the autonomy for their own future. International law is the only framework for peace. Palestinians need more than EU money. They need justice.
The problem is that Friedrich Merz's cheque is no longer covered. In EU Parliament, a giant loophole created, 170 million euros lost, despite 1 billion euros in new taxes collected. The EU wants Germans to come up with 70 million euros. They want to raise tariffs and help the needy, just so they can distribute more money abroad. That won't work anymore. We are going to stop giving money handouts to Gaza and reopen German interests.
I know it's difficult for Greta Thunberg and the Barbie Spanish of Gaza and so on, and on those boats, screaming and partying in front of the cameras. So it's over. No more excuses for socially accepted anti-Semitic behaviour. The Arab countries in the region are very much aware that further confrontation is not the solution. Normalisation, dialogue and trade is. They seek peace and progress. Let us Europeans do the same.
Finally, we have a peace plan for Gaza after millions of citizens across the world took the streets and put pressure to their governments. Even though this is overall good news, we still need to be very careful. This is because we shouldn't forget that the creators of this peace plan are Trump and Netanyahu. These are the same people who are still committing the biggest genocide of the 21st century against the Palestinians. The same people who are absolutely opposed to a two-state solution. The same people that might be ready to start a new colonial time in Gaza if this peace plan is not implemented properly. So our role as the European Union should be to keep pressuring the governments of Israel and the United States to respect all the points of the peace plan and make sure that the final result is the long-awaited two-state solution.
The European Union needs to support the existence of the two peoples and at the same time to remove terrorism, remove the ideological ground for terrorism, because Gaza must go through exactly the same process as Germany after Nazism, because if not, other radical forces will take over under new reasons. Those who are against this agreement because they don't want to speak about Hamas, they're hypocrites. They feel that peace is only possible when the Palestinians hate more than the Hebrews. Thank you.